Welcome aboard, our dear viewers, whoever is watching us, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome aboard to another episode of Panelist Podcast. It is yet another beautiful day here with my senior investigative journalist. It has been a while, but today we are here. Welcome aboard, my.
Well, thank you very much, my brother Plain Rains. Indeed, it has been a while without not appearing on the podcast. Not that because we wished it to be like that to our dear viewers, but of course, it was just because we had some issues back then, and we have been correcting them. Of course, we wanted to have the best for our viewers. Secondly, we wanted to at least correct some of the mistakes we have been doing maybe on the previous podcasts, and of course enhance and empower ourselves before coming to the podcast. Thank you very much, Paul, again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good evening whoever you're watching us from. I'm called Emmanuel Wariaura, humanitarian journalist, investigative journalist, chairman LC5 aspirant in Mbale District, Stockholm Mayor, proud father, proud humanitarian, and of course above all, I love God as my personal savior.
True. Yet in today's episode, it's been a while. Last time we appeared here, a lot have transpired in that time, almost 2 months down the road. But specifically, we have seen a lot. If you look at the political world, we have seen a lot transpiring. We saw political unrest in Madagascar of recent. We saw some elections in Cameroon where Paulo Biya was declared a winner. A lot of unrest has been happening up to date still. And of recent, just two days back, we got some unrest again in political unrest in Tanzania, where people are opposition fraternities demonstrating against unfair government of Samia. In today's episode, we are going specifically. Let's look at this unrest. What is bringing this political unrest in these countries, and that Uganda is going to have, it has a forthcoming election on 15th January next year. What is it reflecting from these countries? What is it reflecting to Uganda political environment? Today we are basically going to talk about that. It will be a political talk show, so you are going to bear with us as you continue watching us. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. I think today I'm in a good gear of at least traversing what's happening in the world. Yes. And most especially, I think the aspect is our prospects are almost going to be in East Africa, maybe Africa, and maybe to another continent. Well, I once again greet you all, my members. Thank you very much for keeping locked on Pen Rains and Emma Wariaura. Your favorite journalist, not favorite, but you are informed journalist. Of course, previously, as you know, politics of the world, politics is a science that to manage the society in simple terms. But of course, most of the leaders or most of the politicians have not mastered that. Well, looking at what is transpiring in the world of politics, there is a lot of things that has happened. When we look at most especially the unrests you've talked about, I'm a student of history, and they always our teacher who taught me history 3, Mr. Msagara. Proud of you, my papa. I passed your subject very well. I'm a student of history, and history tells us that history repeats itself.
Yeah.
Just like as you can refer the unrests and civil wars that are happening in Africa, East Africa, and maybe in the Arab countries. When you look at, when you refer back to the 1941, 1942, when you talk about the World War I and the World War II, this started just like as any other country. Like when you talk about these issues, talk about Germany, talk about France, talk about Italy, Russia, and other Japan, people, America.
Countries, yeah.
So these things happened of a reason we had the disagreements from the political side, from the opposition, from the opposition and
the ruling
governments. Just like as you can know, when you go deep to personalities, like talk about the Bonapartes and the Mussolini, you know, those personalities made a big contribution to the world's history, and of course they had also other shortcomings, which you are going to refer back to then or to today. What is happening in countries like Tanzania and other countries? Well, Penrains, I want to tell you that Tanzania is not the first country to have its citizens on street. We can look at last year, the Gen Z in Kenya.
In Kenya, yeah.
They protested over the bad governance of the presidency. It was on the internet, which sparked interest of all the Gen Z, the youth, the Gen Zs, the millennials to enter street and strike. Not that because the government has facilitated the internet, but the internet was switched off. And this sparked interest in the youth, the Gen Zs. Gen Zs, these are the children who were born. These are the youth who were born in 1997 up to 2000, up to 2013.
Yeah.
And the millennials, those are from 1990 up to maybe 1995. So those people entered the street and they protested over that uncivil thing in Kenya. So we are looking at how Tanzania made this happen also, because now we are entering the fourth day.
Yes.
Whereby the wananchis of Tanzania have protested over the governance of Suluhu Samia, President of the Republic of Tanzania. Tanzania is most known for exports. It has the good harbors for trade. Most of the people always going to Tanzania for vacations, but at the moment it is at the standstill. Why? Just because there is civil unrest. There is a lot of chaos in Tanzania. Well, the Tanzania Electoral Commission conducted the election 3 days back.
Yes.
To my information and with the preliminary information, the voting went on. But perhaps when it reached a point, other parts of the country did not vote. Not that because they didn't have the materials, but just because they had already noticed that there is unfairness in the Electoral College of Tanzania. And on internet there is a video circulating with a tracker carrying a multiple votes containing Suluhu's votes.
Yeah.
Only votes. Yes. So this had really gotten into the interest of the wananchis of Tanzania, and they are protesting on streets for good governance and for a fair election in the country. Speaking of the Tanzanians, of course, the current president Suluhu had also embarked on arresting the opposition leaders. The first biggest opposition leader was arrested. Even they conducted the election when he was in prison. So these events have contributed that much to the civil unrest in Tanzania. And what does it mean to the East African countries? You know, Uganda is going into election in 2026 next year in January. 15th January. And Kenya is also entering in 2027. Yes, for general election. And what does this mean? When you look at now how opposition is capturing, because when you look at Botswana, the opposition leader took over power. So I think there is now time for opposition. There is now time that people have seen great achievements and maybe good vision in oppositions. Civil unrest and chaos still continues in Dar es Salaam. I've seen many cities and centers have been burnt. Many shops have been raided. You know, when the men raided, and there is
National
still
store for gas. They raided. Yeah, they were taking everything.
So, yeah,
borders are closed.
There is still curfew. There is still a lot in Tanzania, but I think me as a Ugandan and as a politician, I wish President Suluhu understands the fate of the people, the wananchi of Kenya, Tanzania, and demonstrate or maybe do what is needed, because I'm told Kenyans had picked interest of
they were crossing to Tanzania.
They were crossing to Tanzania.
They blocked
and the Ugandans, what are you waiting for? Because those are your brothers and sisters. I'm not inciting violence, but what happens in Tanzania may either happen in Uganda or happen in Kenya,
or
Congo or Rwanda. So what does this mean to Uganda's next election? There is one opposition leader in Uganda called Bobby Wine. He's Bobby Wine, Robert Shagulanyi, who is having this. I think he is having this hashtag of
go and vote.
Go and vote. Keep and demand it. It is a very, 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 very big word in communication. And of course, the narratives say that also they're also planning. After voting, they will not wait for what? for declaration. They will just storm streets. So I'm praying and requesting both the government, the ruling party, and the opposition to come into harmonization, and we see how we can move our country far. I know I will not say I'm either on the opposition or the ruling party, because I'm also Ugandan.
Yes.
But what is happening in Tanzania really gives us a glimpse of an eye to think of what may happen also in Uganda. That's why I also say the history repeats itself. You never know. The mistakes that were previously made by the previous presidents in Uganda, I think that the same, which are being repeated by the current president. But of course, we pray for the best.
Should we say that Samia Sahul is inexperienced in a way that she came to power when she wasn't voted by virtue of their constitution? And another thing is that it is being the first election being conducted under her government. She won't take over. What is she inexperienced in these things of voting or voting that being elected, or it is the other way around?
Suluhu Samia has been in the government for almost 15 years. She was the vice president in the reign of Pombe Magufuli, the late. So there is also some information sparking that the late had refused the deal from the Chinese. That deal was of Chinese constructing maybe a big coast in Tanzania, so that they can collect money from that coast for almost like 95 years. So Pombe Magufuli refused the offer, and this is just alleged. So it is alleged that those Chinese had to deal with Samia, the vice president, to eliminate this one. So after then, that's when she took power. Remember, their constitution, by virtue, it was like if the president dies, the vice president takes over, and that's where the fate of her opportunity are beeped. So we are thinking of President Samia's leadership, which has not, I think, pleased all Tanzanians. Yeah, not East Africans, because the issue
Tanzania is affected, East Africa is affected.
Not at all.
Because trade, like in Uganda, to trade, Tanzania takes part of our trade.
I understand, of course, Uganda is a land percentage, but we can use Mombasa. If Tanzania
then costs.
But it's also a problem. Uganda, we have money. In Uganda, we have a lot of money. We can even use the cargo aeroplane, and we bring all what is needed here. Hey, according to your question now, of course, Tanzania, their issue is extremely going too high in the mindset of maybe the political analysts. Not that because of this election which happened 3 days back, but just because the leadership of the current president of Tanzania. When you look at the President Suluhu, she has been an iron lady. That she has been a small dictator in a big country.
True.
I think Samia has been reading, there is a book I read about a dictator's handbook. That book really gives information and gives you an insight of how a dictator behaves, how a dictator handles the geopolitical situations in the country. And I think Suruhu was also reading President Museveni's book, the Master Seed book. So I think she has been trying to also do the dictatorship in Tanzania, but I think the Tanzanians are speaking, because every day, every now and then, you're seeing a lot of Tanzanians storming streets. They are demanding for, first of all, they are demanding for restoration of restoration of independence in the electoral college. Second, they are demanding for all the political prisoners plus the opposition aspirants to be released. Thirdly, they want her out of the of the presidency. There is a preliminary information I've got that she has gone out of the country because of this chaos which is in Tanzania. So we wait to get the best sources from Tanzania so that we can clarify on that.
What would be the impact of this unrest in Tanzania to Tanzanian communities, to the population of Tanzania, and maybe to East Africa?
Now, of course,
positive and negative.
Zeroing it to now Tanzania. Tanzania may also happen to have another new president if that continues. And of course, Tanzania may also again have what we call the new generational, new tactic and new generational unrest that hosted the power of the presidency in East Africa. Because we remember, since I think President Museveni took power through Bush War, Guerrilla War, I think we have never seen any unrest.
Yeah, true.
In East Africa.
In East Africa.
I think in Africa we have seen in Central Africa, seen in Burkina Faso,
Mali, Togo.
Mali. So, and we've seen also the likes of the 92
and the Sudan is
the 92-year-old president. That is who?
Paulo Biya, Cameroon.
Paulo Biya, who also won, and Wananchi also said, "No, you're not going to rule us."
But
I think all African presidents, all African rulers, all leaders, I think. Breastfeeded on one mom, because they are told sometimes saying we are not going to stay on power, but when it reaches time, they always become too big dictators in the country, in their countries. Yes.
Is it a way that Africa was not ready for democracy? It should be ruled under dictatorship or military government?
I want to tell you that Africa has been under dictatorship even beyond even before colonization. Talk about the chiefs and kingdoms which were in Africa. Talk about the Uganda kingdom. Talk about the Maasais. Talk about the Zulu. So those people had their chiefs, and their chiefs used to dictate. If they want if your wife looks beautiful, a chief will just order that bring for me that wife. So that is dictating.
Called the decrees.
So we think what is happening in Tanzania, which is of course now zeroing it to East Africa, it is also going to be in the other way around. If at all the Tanzanians host the power, then it means it's going to be another new way of capturing the power in East Africa. And again, of course, when you look at on another side, in a negative side, of course, you've seen many things are being burnt on streets. Many people are dying. Not that the media is reporting, but people are being killed.
Yeah, people are dying.
Those ones who are protesting against the leadership of Suruhu, they are getting arrested. So, in a positive way, in a negative way, there will be a lot of arrests, death, and loss of properties. But what I can say is, if you are a leader,
you'll be affected.
If you are a leader, always think about who you are, whom you're working for. Sometimes these leaders go beyond their interests, and they always make it a priority for themselves, for their individual selfish interests. So I think it is now high time leaders of Uganda, leaders of Kenya, leaders of Tanzania, leaders of Congo, and the surrounding world to really think before acting when it comes to power restoration and what have you.
You do good if you're watching us and you're still watching us. As we continue, my senior investigative journalist, let him give us a thought of Paulo Bia's winning victory in Cameroon. Paulo Biya is a 92-year-old president who has ruled Cameroon for over 45 years.
He's going to make the 45 years when he goes,
Then if he has won this one, if God keeps him, it means he will rule Cameroon for until he hits 99 years, and we don't know whether he wants another term.
There is a saying in my local language that the good people die quickly and the bad people die late. What does that mean? To most of the people who think Paulo Biya is bad, they're the ones now regretting or lamenting. And those ones who think he's good, they're also doing their side. I think last 2 months back, a daughter of Paulo Biya went on Twitter and wrote and said, I think my father should end this dynasty of ruling the world.
Was decampaigning him.
She decampaigned him. And of course, Paulo Biya also had to say, I think this one is not my daughter. So it was a controversy of family leadership and what have you. But at the end of the day, as you know, as I've told you, that dictators know what is going to happen today, what's going to happen tomorrow, and what will happen in 10 years. Dictators don't think for only today, but they think they have a sense of thinking ahead, just like a critical thinker. So Paulo Biya, I think he also had the oppositions, but he won a vote with 92%, which is extremely so much.
The first declared opposition, and after
he had to change because he's the one who puts there the electoral commission. He's the person who elects all people who guards the vote and what have you. So, but I think leadership comes from God, but sometimes it depends on how you're treating, how you're using that leadership that was given by, or that was mandated to you by God, the Creator, and the people who also trusted you. What I think is, if you're a leader, what is needed in you to I think be loved by your country people, by your associates, by by everyone. One, be a good leader. Speak the truth. Just like Museveni, President Museveni at one time said, the problem of African leaders is overstaying on what?
Power.
On power. And when he spoke that word in 1994, and when they asked him on a televised TV station interview at President Museveni in 1994, you had to say this. He said the problem of African leaders is not staying on power, but it's upon their people they are leading to know to know that if their president is bad, they remove him. But if it's not bad, then they continue. That's why people of Uganda have continued voting for me. So it was a bit so psychological, but of course to the understanding class we could pick it that so easily. So me, I think Paulo Biya of Cameroon, Cameroon is also one of the countries which were overlooked when it comes to politics. The age of the presidency, the many years the president has ruled the country, the GDP of the country, the per capita, the per capita income of every individual in their country, which is a bit too low. So when the per capita income of individuals or citizens are not doing well, then it means the leadership is not doing well. To amuse you, do you know that our Ugandan currency is gaining power?
Yes, true. Good
news, Ugandans, our shillings is gaining power. It is now competing. Actually, it's now the best in East Africa because we had Kenya and Tanzania, which had good currencies, but Ugandan currencies. Is it because of this new Bank of Uganda manager?
I don't know. I cannot tell because I happen to have been watching a certain clip, somebody was saying it is not a Ugandan currency that is gaining value, but it is a dollar which is losing value.
No. But of course, many currencies have been sent in this country, be it dollar, be it grand, be it Japanese yen, be it Chinese euros. But why? I received some euros some weeks back. I used to get a euro at 4,000. But I think at the moment it's almost now dropping to 3,800, like that. So it means it is also reducing. But I think you are an economician. You will have to,
I know.
with the time you will come and explain what is how is that? How is that affecting?
But the fact is, Ugandan currency has gained value.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, on a world.
Does it benefit you?
It benefits every Ugandan. Every Ugandan, not to me. Even you get
how? Of course, you are now an economician.
Let's go political. With the economics, we shall come a day of explaining that.
It's okay.
But this episode is partly political. We've been still giving us thought of Paul Biya's victory, declared a winner in Cameroon. His impact, we saw unrest, Genesis over the streets of capitals of cities in Cameroon. We were demonstrating, and all of a sudden there is a way it is cooling down in a way that the media is not understanding and the world is silent over it.
Now, if you're a dictator, you need to know that media and a pen is one of the dangerous weapons, better than even a gun. Media has played a very big pivotal role in publicizing or disseminating information that has really either changed the world or that has really impacted on lives of the people in the world. Now, speaking about how the Cameroonese uprisals are almost getting out of the news stories, it's not about maybe the tactics of Paulo Biya and his presidency, but I think sometimes when there is a war is always generated by individuals.
True.
So when those individuals come up and bring that idea that can sell to the whole masses, then if the public also comes and buy that, then that's when you see these younger jazzies on the streets. But I think I understand maybe Paulo Biya has called upon these influencers and those people who might have started that.
Censored them in short.
And I think he has talked to them. That's how dictators work. But I think it is also good to know that Paulo Biya's declaration of going through, it's also going to make him to be the long-serving president
and the oldest president
in the whole world. So I think it is high time for you,
the viewer,
and me, and you to know who is your president. How long has he stayed? Are you ready, or you're not ready to change power?
So what are you trying to what are you trying to me?
No, they have heard and they have seen. Yeah. Please, I don't want you to bring for me problems. That's how we talk.
In a few weeks back, earlier this month, unrest again raised in Madagascar. We saw people again on the streets demonstrating over the leadership of the other president, who I've forgotten his name, and I think the forces took over.
Well, yes, Madagascar has been also one of the countries with a lot of resources, a lot of water bodies, but they had not also been benefiting from their country, just like as you see other countries which I may not mention. Their president had kept on investing the citizens' funds or the country's money in other countries, leaving the country. Do you know that even in Madagascar, getting a good hotel was something so good, something so unique. So I think the forces took over power, and the person who took over the presidency had been arrested. He was also arrested. He was also a soldier. I think he was a major. in the forces of the Madagascar army. After that, after all those chaos, the president ran. Now, when these people like this arrested soldier came, because many army believed in that guy, he came, declared himself to take on Madagascar for a meantime as they prepare for what?
A new election.
For new election, and as you know,
that's taken over.
It's going to be throughout
For good.
for good. But if he rules very well the Madagascar, it's going to be, his advantage. But now, why is it that there is a lot of unrest in Africa? Do you know Europe, or maybe the Western countries have had a lot of interest in Africa? But now I think there has been time whereby these African presidents have now come to realize that they can also be independent from what?
From Western world.
Western world. So, Western world has been using media, has been using what we call propaganda to malice, or maybe to bring to account these African leaders and countries. That's why you see they have been coming with freebies to maybe people they think they can take over those respective countries. Talk about maybe the oppositions that have been funded by the Western culture, Western countries, to cause havoc or commotion in their respective countries, so that to cost out on those respective leaders. But I think it has been now a question of time for the African president to think a bit before acting, or maybe engaging with the Western countries or Western world, because it has done more good than harm. Yes, you've seen a lot of debts which have been incurred on African countries. Talk about China. China has constructed a lot of roads in return of stealing our gold, in return of taking a lot of things.
I was surprised that Kenya has a higher debt burden than Uganda.
But I think they are competing, because Uganda had also, I think recently they borrowed over 975 billion Ugandan shilling. That was almost something like 1.3 million, 1.3 billion US dollars. So it is just a question of time. But according to my understanding, you know that money is just papers.
The truth is papers.
But why would a country borrow a country money and say you have a debt? Those are just mutual understanding, which I think you can just come and I give you my land. And that's what they are doing. That's what they're doing. They are selling our gold, and this is now a current pre-colonial era of how these people are now ruling Africa.
Our dear viewers, it has been enough for today. Keep streaming on us, keep watching our videos, keep liking, commenting, subscribe to our channel, and keep following us. Share to everyone.
Thank you, Paul, for today's episode. Well, to our dearest viewers, it has been just a brief discussion, but we are soon starting a good podcast. We're going to be coming back with the good exclusive information. We're going to be always speaking about events that has happened in and out of the country. We're going to we are going to be coming up and discuss about personalities and their contribution. And hey, of course, I'm a candidate. Emma Wadiaula, Chairman LC5, coming by this week. I opt for your support and your everything, so that I go to the district. I want to say thank you very much for listening. For listening and for giving an ear to us, for buying your data. It has been a precious time to come back. It's going to be a continuous day every week. I want to say thank you very much. Emma Wadiaura, we meet you in the next episode. Thank you very much.
It's been enough for today. Meet you when you meet me again.